Hey kids, how about a project? How about we make a portable shooting bench? That's right. Let's work on those Second Amendment rights, y'all. Here we go. So this is what we're gonna make. And all you need to make this, as far as supplies, is one sheet, 4x8 of 3/4 inch plywood. I want you to get the best, cleanest, straightest plywood you can get. Don't get particle board. Don't get OSB. Don't get C grade. I want you to go out and get an $80 sheet of really clean, no knot plywood. This is what we're looking for. So this is a 4x8 sheet of poplar. All right, it's 80 bucks at Home Depot. But when you're done, you're gonna have a really nice shooting bench that is portable and nice and solid, that you made yourself. This is what the wood looks like, right? See, it's real clean, real straight. It's actually 3/4 inch. It's a real nice, clean sheet of plywood. And when you go to Home Depot to pick this up, you're gonna go to the back of the lumber department where they have the big wall saw, and you're gonna ask somebody there to rip it in half. All right, you're gonna cut it into two 4x4 sheets of plywood, and you're gonna go home with that. All right, so this is what you're gonna have when you come home. You're gonna have two of these 4 by 4 square, true and clean. Now, the gear you're gonna need a skill saw with a good blade. You're gonna need a jigsaw with a good blade. You're gonna need a square, a pencil, a tape measure, and if you have a compass for drawing circles, get your compass. All right. Now, the plans and measurements for this build are down there in the comments, first comment. All right. And you'll see how everything lays out on 4x8 sheet of plywood. So what you're going to do is you're going to start, you can start either way, whichever one you want to start on. But you're going to transfer all your measurements onto your plywood. All right. So here's our first sheet of plywood. All right. What we're going to do first is we're going to do this bit here. All right. And then we'll do this bit. This is our first sheet of 4x4, our 4x4 panel. All right. These two parts are going to come off that 4x4 panel. As you can see, upside down, but nonetheless, it's all there. We've got the primary spine and the tabletop. All right. And just start transferring your measurements, your main measurements. You know, this is going to be the entire 48 inches, the entire 4 feet. This is the entire 4 feet, right? And you're going to go up from the bottom 30 inches. You're going to go up from the bottom 16 inches. But wait, it's got notches. These notches will be going into these holes on the tabletop when the tabletop goes on it. So you're actually going to measure out 16 3/4 inches, right? You're going to come over here. You're going to measure out 16 3/4 inches. All right. Then you're gonna measure your two notches, your two keys, your two, what the hell's the word I'm looking for? Let's go with retention peg. So this becomes a retention peg that goes in the retaining hole when you put the table together. All right. So once we have carefully transferred all our measurements from the plans onto our canvas of beautiful plywood, here's our arcs, right? Make everything nice and round, and we're going to start cutting. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to drill holes at certain points. For example, for these, I'm going to drill holes at the corners of each of these, so that when I put my jigsaw in there, my blade can go nice and straight. I can turn the jigsaw within the hole, cut the next line, cut this out, the retention hole. I've got 4 of those to do here, right? The retention pegs. All right. I'm gonna drill a hole here. I'm gonna drill a hole here, here, here. All right. These channels, retention channels, we're gonna drill a hole here. We're gonna drill a hole here. So that we come down with our saw. We'll use the skill saw most of the way. We'll stop short and we'll use the jigsaw to finish it up. Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and cut it out, and then we'll move on to transferring all the measurements and plans onto the second sheet. So if it's 30 and the notch is 3/4, it's gonna be 30 3/4, right?
From the edge to the center line, 6 inches, and then this is 3/4, so from the center line that'd be 1, 2, 3, so 3/8 and 3/8. Yeah, right.
Alright, so center line 6, 1, 2, 3/8, 1, 2, 3/8. So that gives us 3/4, right? Yeah, perfect. Okay. All right. So once you've got your 5 parts, 6 parts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts cut, go ahead and do a dry fit. You're gonna probably have to do some little extra shaving on some of the holes for the retention pegs, and if you're not careful and pay real close attention to your measurements, you might mismeasure 1 or 2. Don't do that. What'd you do? Mismeasure 1? Yeah, I goofed. Fortunately, it wasn't super serious. I cut this one in the wrong spot. So I just cut a plug for it. I'm gonna glue it in and it'll be no big deal. I'm gonna be painting this with the whole thing with bed liner. Anyway, once you've done a dry fit and everything's fitting in, everything's the way it should be, of course you're going to be gluing your seat, because you want the seat to be doubled up for strength, because you're going to be leveraging on it and whatnot. So that's why there's two of those. One of them you cut the holes, one you don't. So I'm going to go ahead and glue the seat, and then I'm going to go ahead while that's drying, and I'm going to cut out all the weight eliminating panels. So I've got my clamps. I'm a big fan of the Gorilla Glue. I've got my water spritz, and I've got my panels ready to go. I've dry fit them 4 times, made sure that they're definitely going to go. I'm going to spritz it wet. I'm going to put a bead of Gorilla Glue around the outer edge, and then I'm going to make a little center section, and then I'm going to spritz this side. I'm going to clamp them together. I'm going to make sure that this flat edge is square and flat, that they're both nice and flat. I can sand the other parts that don't quite line up if they're not exact, but if you're careful cutting, you should be nice and square. I'm also going to use, I think I might put 4 screws in it to hold it together, and I'll come up from this one up so that there's nothing on this one. Here you go. I've glued it, and I've just put 6 screws in it just to make sure that it's really held together good. I got it clamped, and the Gorilla Glue is going to dry. We'll leave that alone now for about a half hour. If you want to get real fancy, you get your router, if you have one, router your edge. Round off the whole thing. You don't have any sharp edges on your shooting tabletop. Alright, so dry fit's done. We've done some sanding, done a little bit of router work. It's time to go ahead and cut out the panels to remove some of the excess weight that isn't needed. All right, so you went through and you very carefully drew everything on your panel. Disregard the fact that I already started drilling before I recorded. All right, so we've got the lines where we want to cut out, the panels that we want to cut out. And what I have found to be the most efficient is the exact point that you used with your compass to draw the circle and draw the corners. Right at that point, take a drill, take a 1/4 inch drill bit, drill a hole right through that pivot point, through the center of that circle, and then get your, on this panel it's 3-inch 3-inch hole saw, and just start making wheels. Wheels? Like for a wooden choo-choo set or wooden truck toys? Yeah, make your granddaughter or your niece or the neighbor's kids some little wooden cars like we used to play with back in the day. Give them something to color on and play with in the dirt. You know? Play in the dirt. Put the phone away. Put the iPad away. Anyway. Now you're going to just use that hole as your pilot hole for your hole saw, which will put it exactly perfect. The trick to a good, clean hole with a hole saw is drill down until your drill bit has gone through, right? Then flip the piece of wood over and come back in from the other side, and you'll make really nice, clean cuts. It won't be all splintered out and ugly. So these two, for example, I've drilled about halfway down. Now I'm just gonna flip it down, come in from the back side. And once you get it out, makes a real nice toy wooden truck wheel. Got a whole bucket of them. All these scraps will make perfect truck bodies, choo-choo train bodies, and next project before Christmas. All right, so I've got all the panels cut. All the panels are routed, nice and smooth all the way around. Next step is going to be painting them, but just show you real quick how it goes together. So what we're going to do is we're going to take, this is the main spine right here, right? This is the seat, bracket, all right? Got the seat. There's the seat. Right? And once it's all together, it's real sturdy. Everybody just needs to find their happy place. Once they do, everything's good. You just gotta clean it off, and I'll be painting it with truck bed liner, and then I'll take it out shooting. I have a lead sled that I'm going to be putting on it. For ultimate accuracy, that just sits right there. Of course, your rifle will be right there, right? There you go. I'll put a picture of it painted with the bed liner in the comments, or I'll edit the video. But otherwise, that's it. It's done. I'm happy with it. Yeah. So appreciate it if you like and subscribe. Check things out. I appreciate it. Put a comment down below. Tell me what you think. You like it, you hate it, think it's cool, got a question, I'll try and answer it. All right? Thanks a lot. Peace. God bless America.